Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Hour Power Hour. We've got an overwhelming response, so we're going to continue doing the Lunch Hour Power Hour. You could see on the menu for lunch is pizza with anchovies, obviously. This is my fourth slice. So while I was eating my pizza, actually before I'm recording this video, I was looking at this Berkadia 2021 report that talks about employment, job-wise, income-wise, rent-wise on each major city in America. Now, why am I looking at that report? It's because I want to know what cities are getting impacted by the coronavirus. I want to know what cities are growing. I want to know where the rents are in the cities. I want to know where employment rates are. I want to know what cities are hot and which cities are not hot. And this is all forecasting on the future, which is where you want to be. You want to know what's going to happen this year and where you should be investing, where should you be focusing, where should you not be focusing. So you have to learn. Knowledge, taking in all this knowledge and applying it is crucial. A lot of times we just take in knowledge, but we never apply it, okay? It says, I think there was a study back in 2012, the average person consumes so much content, it's about 175 newspapers of content. Can you believe that? It's crazy how much content we consume. And there's this other quote of analysis paralysis. So a lot of people get so much information and analyze so much and they get paralyzed and they never actually take a step. So I'm looking at that report and I'm looking at which markets I should be focusing in. If you haven't checked it out, Berkadia, go to Berkadia.com. Look for their annual report for multifamily real estate investing, apartments in general. Specifically, I'm sure they have one for retail. I'm sure they have one for warehouses. I'm sure they have one for other industries. But I'm just looking specifically for employment and apartments and where the rents are in those cities. And what's happening. Is it going to be increasing 2021, 2022? Where's the jobs at? Things like that. Gives you a great indicator. The other thing is that you got to get courage behind you. If you don't have the courage behind you to pursue this and take the steps, you are never going to do it. There's so many people that have so much equity because they have their houses and they got all this equity, or they got this real estate here and there, and they have this dead money called equity sitting in there. You haven't tapped into it yet. Now, before you do that, meaning before you go sell your real estate and get all this money out, or refinance and get the money out, understand debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Debt is commercial lending and then there's residential lending. If you're going to buy something that's 4 units or more, you're going to be in commercial side. If you're buying a single family home, it's residential lending, or it's bridge money lending, or it's hard money lending, or it's short-term money lending, which is 12 months to 24 months short-term. Interest rates a little higher, probably interest only, but you have to refinance out or sell the property in order to get out of that money that you borrowed. So it's fix and flips, it's rehabs, it's value adds to refinance out into a more lower interest debt, long-term debt. That's like 30-year mortgage, 20-year mortgage, 15-year mortgage, 30-year amortization schedule, low interest, something that you can hold the property with. Once you understand debt like that, then you start going to the marketplace, which your number one debt lenders are going to be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac for commercial lending. You're not going to get any better interest rates than Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or CMBS lending, which is, you might get competitive in some deals, or insurance companies will give you really, really great loans, very, very low interest in the money. But the deals have to be millions of dollars in lending. They don't, insurance companies only lend on really, really pocket deals that are really stable, really established, trophy properties. Okay, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, they will invest in properties that are stabilized, yes, but they don't have to be trophy properties. Okay, the average interest rate for Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, commercial side lending for multifamily You could get it at the low 3% range now. I closed on one I think we were at I think it was 3.7% or 3.6% interest. By far, the cheapest money you can get. Every other bank could not beat that. You can't beat it. And the reason why you want that, when you understand debt like that, is because your payments are going to be so much lower. Now, that term loan I got was, I think it was a 10-year term, 1 year interest only, 30-year amortization schedule. Now you're saying, oh, 10 years, that's kind of short. But the amortization schedule is 30 years, so the payments are still very low. Interest only, my payments are very, very low at the beginning of the of the year. Why would I do that? It's because I want to inject the money back into the property for the first year to raise those rents and get them to market. The reason why I do that is because I'm forcing appreciation. I'm using debt in order to do that. It's not my money, it's Freddie Mac's money. It's the property that's producing cash flow. It's that money that's doing it. I'm just taking the money and injecting it back into the property. So I'm being the great, great investor that they trust in order to do that. Now you got to have trust in order to build this credibility. How do you do that? You need to have a resume. You need to have a track record. You need to get in there and start doing it. I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm trying to get in. How do I do it? I started with my single family house that I remodeled myself, and I was living in that. That's how I started. I remodeled it, taught myself all the skills on YouTube, and I added that as my investor's resume, house number one, flip number one. Then I started looking around everything around me, all the resources around me, family, friends. I just started looking at stuff, and I started working on these projects. And the reason why I did that is because I was using that to build up my portfolio so I can have a track record. That's what you want. Now, you also have to have credit, good credit. So you got to be not having high credit card utilization. You got to pay off your debts, student debts, delinquencies, all that stuff. Clean all that shit up, man. You need good credit. You need good track history. You also need your overall net worth to be a certain range. So some of the portfolio I had before, from building up this history, increased my overall net worth. So therefore I was able to qualify for that loan. Because Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, they're not going to give you a loan unless your net worth is equal to or greater than the loan amount. Okay? There are some caveats, but you have to have a really, really strong, compelling reason why. They knew I was a triathlete, they knew I speak, they know I do all these other things besides real estate, so they were investing into the person, which is very important. That's why you got to work with a level of excellence, because if you don't, you're not building your credibility, you're not building the trust with people around you. And the lenders, they want to know they can trust you. So they're going to look at you as a person, not just your financials, but you as a person. So bring everything to the table. Don't leave nothing to chance. So if you do a job, do it to the absolute best of your ability, and don't take any shortcuts, because it's your name, it's your reputation's attached to it. So make sure you build a great reputation with it, and with the time that you have and whatever that you're doing, build a great reputation that's dependable and that people can look to you to solve the problems and basically lead the charge. And that's what I did. So I understood the debt. That was after a couple of years of talking to brokers and learning and studying and researching, learning and studying, crunching numbers through the Excel spreadsheets, trying to understand how this works, and eventually it started clicking in how to use the debt. So now every debt that I take makes me money. So let's just say, for example, just take that one example. The Freddie Mac loan was, let's just say, 3.5% debt interest on the money. I know the property cash flow is about 9 or 10%, right? So now you have a spread. You have a spread from let's just say 3% to 10%. You have a 7% spread of cash that's coming in. Now, if you multiply that 7% by the amount of debt that you took, so let's just say $100,000, right? 7% times $100,000 is what? Is that 7,000 or 70,000? I don't know. Do the math, guys. I'm really, really bad at math. Okay, horrible at math. Which is a great caveat, side street, is that you don't have to be a math whiz in order to understand investing. Okay, you just have to understand what you're getting into and the property. And once you set up the formulas in your spreadsheet, you're good to go. Okay. So that spread is what I make on the debt alone. Okay. Now we haven't even talked about taxes. We haven't talked about write-offs, nothing like that. That's a whole nother level of topic, whole nother level of videos that need to go into that. However, you can make more money on taxes, and that 10% is actually probably about 14 or 15% when you start including taxes into it of a rate of return. And that's freaking amazing, right? So anyway, that's it. That's the Power Hour lunch. I gotta finish eating my slice of pizza. I get cranking because I gotta meet with a builder, look at a couple projects, ask a couple questions, and put together some investing plans for some fix and flips, new constructions, and pitch them to the new lenders that I'm trying to secure so I can work on some new projects for 2021. And that's it. So get after it. Be courageous. Start investing. Don't be scared. You got to take a chance. You got to take some sort of level of risk involved in anything that you do. So just go for it. Okay. Don't hold yourself back because you only live once. So try it. And at least you say you tried, and you can't say, oh, well, what if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? Try it. All right. Love you guys. Live free. Live amazingly.